Stacy Sue.
I'm Tyler Conchita.
And I'm Connor Rothschild, and together we make Team Meta Design Journal. When you think of Design for America at Rice University, you think of a lot of things. You think of aesthetic PowerPoints, you think of Maddie Bowen, you think of LaCroix, and you think of a few exemplary projects which stand out in your minds as projects that we should all seek to emulate. In short, you think of Coco the koala. Why do we think of Coco the koala when we think of Rice Design for America? Because Coco the koala was a great project that had a significant impact on its users. And Coco the koala had lessons that could be learned throughout the process of creating its final solution. But what if I told you there are other projects at Rice Design for America that we can learn from that aren't Coco the koala? That's what we hope to capture in our Meta Design Journal. Throughout months of researching and prototyping, we finally created our final iteration of the Meta Design Journal. This is our final prototype. This is our final prototype. Stacy will pass it around and you guys can browse. So this is our final prototype, and the following presentation is how we got there.
So we started off the semester by conducting research. We reached out to all DFA studios across the US. We sent out a survey, got 24 responses, and it represented 18 studios. We asked a variety of questions, and amongst those questions, we asked about the state of their publishing process. We found that 50% of studios that we surveyed don't have a process for publicly publishing their projects. And of those that do publicly publish, 78% are unsatisfied with the process. We used these insights to figure out what the problem was in a sentence. Knowledge that could be built upon isn't being built upon because there's a gap in the foundation for publishing the lessons learned during the design process. So take, for example, a user persona, Max. She's a DFA studio lead, and she has 3 wants. She wants to share what's going on inside her studio with people that are unfamiliar with DFA. So, for example, community partners that the studio hasn't reached out to yet, or even recruiting new members into her studio. How do you explain what DFA is and what DFA does? She wants to share what's going on inside her studio with people that are familiar with DFA, so people that are continuing on, like entering their 2nd semester, 3rd semester, thinking about becoming a team lead, a studio lead. They want to learn what lessons other people have learned in the process so that they can do a better job. And finally, she wants to learn from other DFA studios. What lessons are other studios learning that she could implement into her own studio? With these insights about what the problem was, we came up with our How Can We statement.
So we wanted to know, with our insights, how can we share lessons learned in the DFA studio so that these lessons are accessible to everyone, so people not familiar with DFA, and impactful to people who are in DFA. So we realized what we're really trying to make is a bridge. This bridge bridges the gap between studios, between old projects and new members, between studio leadership and community partners, between DFA members and their potential employers, between DFA members and their project mentors, and finally between DFA and the community. Together we put all these bridges together and we've got a rainbow. This rainbow is our design journal. But the real question is, how can we build it?
So the answer to that question for us, first off, started off with scoping in. So scoping in for the spring 2018 semester, we really wanted to create a journal which reflects our insights on a national level yet is composed of Rice projects. But scoping for the future, we were interested in creating a journal which reflects our insights on a national level and is also composed of national projects. So we had 3 main design goals. We wanted our journal to be accessible, enjoyable, and informative. We also had 3 main measures of successes. First, we wanted 90% of our readers to report a better understanding of DFA. We wanted 0% of our readers to report being unfamiliar with words or phrases used. And we wanted around 70% of readers to report the length of each piece to be appropriate. So with all that in mind, we went to our next step, which was to iterate, and iterate, and iterate. So first we had, our first iteration was a low fidelity prototype, which you guys are all a part of in terms of testing. So in our low fidelity prototype, we were really concerned with kind of understanding the different aspects of the studio, whether that be through team leads, studio leads, or different projects. And our main concern was content and not so much layout. So we tested it with you guys, but we also tested in the coffee house with people who were less familiar with DFA as an organization. And we got some really interesting feedback. So around 40% of people said they actually did not gain a deeper understanding of DFA or the design process after reading our journal. Around 25% of people said that there were words or phrases that were unfamiliar to them. And another 25% of people did feel that our pieces were slightly too short. So with all that kind of feedback in mind, we progressed forward to our mid-fidelity prototype, which we took that all into consideration, and this time we also started to take into consideration layout. And we were invited to present at a undergraduate journal showcase, and there we presented our journal, and we also got a lot more interesting feedback, which I wanted to talk about.
So a lot of our feedback from mid-fidelity testing really came down to 3 crucial insights that we got from it. The first was, blocks of text are intimidating. So in order to do this, we wanted to modify the layout and bring the text up to make it a bit bigger, so it would be a lot more readable for the user. The second one is that it wasn't really that enjoyable to read. In order to solve that, we thought that we wanted to add a lot more visual graphics, things that would be a lot easier instead of just massive blocks of text that may be interesting but are sort of a bit dry. Finally, people felt like the language that was being used and the context for DFA was not really there. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to add a glossary and also other like infographics and things like that that would allow people to understand what we mean by the DF language that we're using in our journal. So with all this in mind, we came up with the high fidelity prototype, which you guys are looking at right now. But it doesn't end there. We're really excited about the future of this project, and we really feel like there's a lot of potential going forward, especially given that we were able to find so many amazing projects and so much amazing content right here in the Rice DFA studio, but there's so many other studios across the country which we're certain have so many different amazing projects to offer. When we first started this project, we felt really passionate about interacting with other studios, which we did get to do a good amount of during the immerse phase, but as we scoped down, we sort of focused on Rice. However, there's so much out there, and there's a lot to be done in the future to create a design journal that may not just be for Rice, but also be on a national level.
So we don't have a lot of time left, but in like 30 seconds, I'm going to give you the big picture. So at the beginning of this presentation, you saw this project logo that we had created. What the heck is it? It's called a Necker cube. What's a Necker cube, you may ask? A Necker cube is an example of how humans navigate ambiguity. What the heck does that mean? Alright, this is the Necker cube. This is front 1. It's popping out one way. Check this out. Front 2, popping out the other way. It's an ambiguous line drawing that challenges us to test our ability to take multiple perspectives on one object. That's the Necker cube. With that framework and our driving idea to build a rainbow bridge, putting those two things together, we get a prism. Wow, our design journal is a prism. Why, you may ask? Because it takes information in and refracts it to reveal a rainbow of perspectives found in the DFA National Network. This is the big picture. Our design journal bridges perspectives.
We wanted to thank our project mentor, Dr. Lisa Spiro, who was super helpful throughout the entire project and really met with us really often and helped us craft the vision for the project that we wanted. We also want to thank our community partners, the studio leads, who really helped us again be very engaged and gave us a lot of insight and help throughout this whole process. So thank you guys so much, and we'll open it up to questions.
Could you expand on your plan to further the design journal, contact maybe national community members or other design community members at Rice?
So we actually just registered our project, so DFA National knows about us now. They checked out our high fidelity prototype, they thought it was awesome. They shared it with the DFA network in the national Slack. Other people thought it was awesome, so we've got a lot of contacts. So hopefully we'll be able to expand at like a rapid pace if this project continues on to next semester. Yes, ma'am.
So if this goes out into the national network, who's going to be responsible for like compiling all the projects and making the design journal?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a question we have been thinking about and we will continue to think about. I think we're going to be having a lot of discussions moving forward about that exact thing, but for now, like, I think the assumption is like there are people that are passionate about this, and if those people can be accessed to work on this team, then I think this will work out. But more specifics to come.